Hi, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice here with you. It's the Christmas gift most of you have been waiting for. 3 out of our 3 most reliable computer models are hinting at snow possible over the next 10 days across the southeast. We'll map out where and the Arctic air that comes along with it. Thank you for joining right now. We've got a lot to talk about, so we'll get right to it. Hope you and your family had a wonderful Christmas. Here you go. We've got our Canadian model, our European model, and our GFS model all hinting at some sort of mischief here. Far out, but there's enough pattern recognition here that in the coming days, we're going to have to watch this along with some Arctic air that's going to be plunging our way. It is going to be mighty cold. In fact, we've got pipe-threatening weather, plant-killing weather, so you need to pay attention to this. Could get close to 0 in parts of Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, even into Florida. It could get into the teens, so we need to unpack this and walk you through it step by step. Please like this video. Let me know where you're watching from, and I'll keep you posted of where it's coming your way. So we had storms today, severe weather, in fact, this morning across parts of the southeast, really rumbling across the area with, some strong winds. Even a few isolated tornadoes were possible out of it. Now we're changing the pattern around. In fact, as I look at the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, this starts January 5th and goes through the 11th, a significantly below normal outlook here for the Carolinas up through Virginia. This is a pattern that needs to be watched. And when you look at the global hazards here, we're actually pinpointing here. This is typically something you see in severe weather season or a hurricane season. They map out hazards. Notice the blue that is highlighted here across a good part of the eastern United States, which would indicate significant threats for cold air. And our pattern recognition is there. This is how we seasonally look at temperatures. Is it going to be a warmer winter or a lower or colder winter? And then is it going to be a warmer month or a colder month? Well, here you see this dip below 0. This is the North Atlantic Oscillation, which basically tells me the way the pattern is setting up in the atmosphere is conducive for not only cold air, but active weather that would support the chance for some snow. Now, the European has gone crazy last night. Be careful what you see online. I haven't shown you any of the snow models yet because they've been all over the place. Last night, the European went absolutely bonkers with over a foot of snow in areas like the I-85 corridor for Atlanta to Greenville, Spartanburg to Charlotte. While that's not out of the question in a pattern like this, we need to see more confidence and consensus in the models. So the European here takes us through New Year's. We've got a little system here with some northwest flow snow for the mountains of western North Carolina Wednesday into Wednesday night. Then that shuts down, and then we just get some near normal temperatures. It's not until this upcoming weekend that a stronger front rears its head and comes our way. This with some cold air. This is usually the Renegade. The first system that comes through just kind of plows the way with cold air. This would arrive Sunday, January 5th into Monday, January 6th. Looks like there could be some snow for Tennessee into the mountains of western North Carolina, possibly a wintry mix in the northern part of the upstate. This would be not this Monday, not tomorrow, but a week from today. So we're about a week out from what could be the beginning of us getting cold. And this system would need to be watched for maybe a wintry mix. Normally, these systems are the first of 2 that come in. And that seems to ring true with this, with a late week the following week, days 10 and 11 time frame that would bring the potential for snow. So this European model paints the picture of some snow in western North Carolina, a sleet, freezing rain mix for Asheville, a rain ice mix possible for the northern part of the upstate through Charlotte. That'd be the I-85 corridor. This would impact the first day for school for many people, going back across the Carolinas, Virginia, into North Georgia, into Tennessee. So kids going to be watching this. Do we get an extended Christmas break? Well, it is possible with this scenario from the European. So this would be, again, Monday, a week from tomorrow. All right, so that clears out. Now that sets the stage. Now we're cold, and the models really show temperatures plunging here. See that 540 line getting to the I-20 corridor here? That's an indication just how cold it's going to be, not only here at the surface, but high up. Notice over here some action developing. That's pattern recognition. Now, this particular model doesn't show the epic blockbuster snowstorm that its earlier run did last night, but it still shows a system forming and diving way far south in the Gulf. That doesn't mean it couldn't be far north. That doesn't mean that we couldn't get it. So simply put, it's going to be just major cold here. Notice this 510 line right here. That is a thickness that is extremely cold. A little piece of the polar vortex. You hear that buzzword thrown around a lot. Just silly, silly cold toward the end of next week. We're talking near zero in many parts of the country. Here comes that piece of energy. It dives down right here, but doesn't produce much snow in this run, but it does send in some crazy cold air as far south as central Florida. All right, let's look at the snowfall totals on this. It would show next Monday, so next Monday the 5th into the 6th, 1 to 2 inches of snow along the I-85 corridor from Greenville, Spartanburg up through Charlotte, with about 4 to 5 inches of snow north of there. But it would also show ice in this situation, about 1/10 of an inch of ice with that and some sleet to boot. So kind of a mix mess out of that one. Let's look at the GFS model. It's been consistent, showing the cold coming in. How about the snow? Well, here you go with the colder air coming in around the 1st. That's the first round. Here comes that serious cold air. Same timing, a week from today, next Sunday, Monday. Again, right there with the European, almost identical on the timing here, with ice for western North Carolina. And then it sends in the cold air. That's the first system that brings in the cold air. It plunges in Monday the 6th, Tuesday the 7th, and then here comes its secondary system, which paints snow. This is the American model. It paints snow about 9 days from now. That'd be next Monday night into Tuesday, as far south as Atlanta, Augusta, Columbia, Charlotte, Raleigh, northern parts of Horry County and Myrtle Beach could even see some snow in this solution of the GFS. It has that low way out here toward the coast, but that's an interesting phenomenon. If it were a little closer, that'd be a typical classic Miller A, Miller B type situation where you get this big low dipping down right here, forms a surface low that cranks in the machine here that can send back snow against the mountains. And boy, those are the ones you get your big ones across the southeast and the Carolinas and Georgia. That is a possibility here. And again, the timing lines up with the European, with it being next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So days 8 through 9, 10, 11. Let's show you the earlier run just for giggles here. Many of you are watching right now. You've already seen it on social media. So let me responsibly tell you, this is not a forecast. This is what the model run is showing you from the European. Cold air comes in next Sunday night, Monday. It's here. Then comes that secondary low developing, classic Miller B type situation. Rides right up the coast, right there. That just sends in a blockbuster snow for the southeast from Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Carolinas, into Virginia. This would be a nasty, nasty situation if that were to unfold, and kids wouldn't go back. They get an extra week off for Christmas break if that were to unfold. How about the Canadian model? Like I said, 3 out of our 3 most reliable computer models are painting the picture of possible snow out of this. So where do we go from here? Cold air is here. Look at all those blues, the 540 lines, all the way to the Georgia-Florida line. No, that is not a song, but it should be. Here we go. Here comes the cold air. There's that low cranking up. Same time next Monday, so day 8. Here we go next Monday. Here comes snow for Greenville, Spartanburg North. Ice for the I-85 corridor, Atlanta, I-20 South. And this would be a mess. Very similar to that previous European run that we showed, where it wants to paint the picture of the possibility of a wintry mix across the Carolinas, Georgia. And again, kids would get an extra week off of snow. This would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, with no warm air to melt this through Thursday, Friday's time frame. So if this were to come to fruition, it would be a mess. How about totals? Well, yeah, almost all of them show something. Here's the Canadians' depiction. It's got about 8, 9 inches of snow right here where the best moisture lines up with that. It's got 3 to 5, even 7 inches of snow for the mountains of western North Carolina, and it just goes bonkers off the coast. Now, to reliably give you a forecast, as a meteorologist, been doing this 20 years on TV, I know the second you say the snow word on TV, people just go crazy, right? So you can't just pick one of these runs and talk about it, all right? So the responsible way to forecast and the way that I do it is I'm transparent with you. How do the models, the ensembles? Well, the European that I just showed you a minute ago, you saw one who had a blockbuster snow, the other one not so much. Well, those are different runs. Here is 51 different runs of that on a table. You see 0 through 50. All right, there's 51 of these that run through here and give us the chance for snow. Okay, so each run is tweaked a little bit. Timing has changed. The moisture has kind of changed a little bit just to give you a different scenario. And if you end up with the same result, you know you get forecast that you can kind of hang your hat on. Well, here in that Sunday, Monday time frame, remember that's the initial batch of cold air. I've got something on almost, I'd say 80-90% of my 51 options that I have from the European. This is for Greenville-Spartanburg. Your town may be a little bit different. Farther south of Greenville-Spartanburg on 85, you'd see a little bit less. North, you can expect more. But generally speaking, none of these models have more than, say, 2 inches. That indicates to me that some snow or ice is possible, but really this is probably just the initial band that cools you down. Then beyond that, there are just as many runs in that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday time frame that want to paint the picture of snow. And that's usually what I don't usually count on this first one because it's not usually cold enough yet. But when you get cold air established, that second one is one to watch. And the European has most of those showing that. How about the GFS? Well, again, that Wednesday, Thursday time frame, one model just absolutely crazy, skewing the models here. So you toss that one out, and you get somewhere here 2.5 to 3, 1, 1, 2. So not as many of the GFS runs want to show that, but the Canadian model, same time frame, Tuesday, January 7th, you got a couple of them here that show 2, 3, 4, 5 inches of snow. How about Asheville, Hendersonville? Again, many of them not more than 2 or 3 inches here of the 50 runs, but almost all of them on the 7th, 8th, and 9th want to show snow. All right, so it's looking like a favorable pattern, but the bigger impact that we will all feel, regardless of whether we get moisture to line back up with it, would be the chance for cold air. Not just cold air, but pipe-threatening cold air, okay? Here we go with the reason why. Big dip in the jet stream here on the 5th, 6th. Then the 7th and 8th, a reinforcing shot of that cold air sinks in. A little piece of the polar vortex is the lobe of that. This is normal. It's a normal occurrence. The actual polar vortex is not dipped down, but a piece of it does, and that sends in cold air that is right with it and thereafter it. This would be Wednesday, Thursday, January 8th, 9th time frame, and boy, that would be some serious cold air that would come down. And that pattern would need to be watched anytime around that, just before it and thereafter, because it looks like, as you can see from that going off coast, what goes down must go up, law of physics, right? Same thing in the atmosphere, that as we get into the end of that following week, so toward the middle of the month, we would have a better chance at least warming up for a little while, all right, before another little lobe tries to come through. So a pattern to watch here toward the beginning to the middle of the month. Second half of the month, as you can see back here, that would try to come our way in the East Coast, all right? So what do the numbers actually spit out here? Well, the European, as I just showed you, wants to show that cold air coming in here. You see those purples are single digits. This would be Tuesday, January 7th morning, 12 in Asheville, 22 in Greenville, 16 in Charlotte, and 22 in Atlanta Metro. Here come the single digits below zero. All right, how about Wednesday morning? It'd be 11 in Asheville, 21 in Greenville, 15 in Charlotte, 21 in Atlanta, with 2-3 degrees above zero in Nashville, Middle Tennessee. All right, Thursday's time frame, the other piece comes through. Again, teens, single digits up this way. And Friday, the coldest would be January 10th on this solution, 5 in Asheville, Hendersonville, 16 in Greenville, 9 or so in Charlotte, Nashville, Tennessee, -3, Kentucky, well below zero, and that would continue into the following weekend. Here's the way it looks on the 10-day forecast here. Would look something like this toward that Wednesday, January 8th, highs in the 30s, highs near freezing, and again, that's the time frame to watch. Again, it's right when that cold air comes in. We're in the 50s through the beginning of the year. And then the 3rd, 4th, 5th is when that secondary cold comes in, and it's after that you'd want to watch out for that. With highs in the 30s, lows in the teens, that right there, that time frame right here is what you'd have to watch out for in this time to possibly see some wintry weather threats. Canadian model, even colder for GSP, 9, 10, 11 degrees here, several mornings with highs at or near freezing. Really getting cold in here toward the middle of the month on the Canadian model. And then the European model, this is for Asheville, Hendersonville. You got single-digit lows with highs in the 20s, highs in the teens. That's just brutal. On the European ensembles for that. And if that weren't enough, it looks like the early indication is that even though we may have a better chance at getting near normal by the middle of the month, is that third week, that'd be January 11th through the 24th on this latest outlook here from the Climate Prediction Center, would indicate below normal temperatures. So it's a pattern to watch, simply put. It's a pattern that we have our eyes on, and we'll continue to keep you posted. So if you're new to this channel, please follow this page. Let me know where you're watching from. That helps me tailor these forecasts. And hey, it's something to keep an eye on. I'm not one that's going to get your hopes up and then just dash them away, but I'm also one that's going to be transparent with you. If I see a threat for severe weather or wintry weather, I'm going to let you know about it and keep you posted along the way. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Some of you getting back to the grind this week. As we get toward New Year, we've got a lot to track, and I'll keep you posted along the way.